Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR to sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudolph, AJ, Meghan, Blais coming to you live for Game 2 of the Global Series in Finland. Avs taking on Columbus, looking to sweep the thing, which I say that like it's dramatic. It's 2 games, but it's still true. All right? Can't argue with it. Kind of the same story as yesterday for the Avs lineup. Val still a game time decision. Francouz in net, obviously, on the second half, which we will talk about in a little bit. I'm not sure where to put expectations for this game, because on the one hand, you expect the Finns to be up. It's their global series. This is the last time they might ever get to play in Finland as an NHL player. On the other hand, it's a Sega Baba. Will they find their legs, or is this going to be a slog a little bit?
There's so many legs to go around. I think that they have no excuse. They're on a national stage, or global stage, sorry. And I was thinking about my answer to the problems of the team yesterday. It was really long-winded, and the simplified version is I think the solution for this team is to discover what it means to win together as a team, because they were familiar with what it took to win as a team with last year's group, and there's some departures, some new personnel, and a lot of returning people that just need to rediscover what it means to win together as a team. And winning the second night of a back-to-back is just a key part in all of that. I think Georgie is going again in net. Bednar is doing a very classic Bednar thing.
Oh, is it
and
Georgie?
rolling with the hot
Okay,
goaltender.
well.
So
There goes our show.
Leave it to Bednar to make me look bad, for sure.
he did it on purpose, actually.
Specifically spited us. Shout out his answer to, I think it was Peter Baugh's question that Jesse posted on Twitter the other
The
day.
little smirk.
Gut feel. End of answer. Like, okay. Thanks, Jared. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no Nichushkin again.
Not that big of a surprise, to be honest.
It just sucks when they're like dangling the carrot, right? Like when he's out there in warm-ups trying to go. Obviously, he wants to play. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bummer.
Well, Megan is pitching us the Disney sports movie so far, where they have to.
Guys, I woke up this morning with so many feelings about this game. I had a feeling about Andrew Cogliano offensively doing something in this game. The third line as a whole doing something. It was weird.
Vibin'.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here, probably with my therapist.
If Cog scores, you're taking over bets after that. It's
We're
over
done.
after yeah. Megan's moneymakers.
Well, we were going to talk about Pavel Francouz and the fact that he started the season winless despite some decent games.
Yeah, this is going to be a great opportunity for him to.
Pick one up, but
Yeah.
I guess not.
That's what I'm saying. Just there goes our whole pregame show.
So back to Cogliano. I'm just kidding.
I don't really understand why
I don't get it either.
you would
man.
go to Georgiev. Frankie hasn't played poorly.
I agree.
It's unless something's up, and the option was Georgiev or Ananen. I don't know what we're doing here. This doesn't.
Especially against
Get it.
the Blue Jackets, right? Like, this is a get-right team for a goalie.
Yeah. Well, and they're probably going against Korpisalo, who
Yeah.
there was a question whether it was going to be Korpisalo or Tarasov, and I think that the Blue Jackets said earlier this week that Korpisalo was like, he's here to be the backup. And, okay. So I was assuming that it was going to be backup day,
Seemed pretty clear cut, yeah.
Yeah, against Korpisalo. Now, if it's Georgiev against Korpisalo, it's like, you should really win this game. and I know that that's both games for Georgiev, but you should really win this game.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, regardless of who's in net, the Avs should be the pretty heavy favorites against this hockey team.
Yeah. Well, and they went against what has been the worst goaltender in the NHL so far this year yesterday in Merzlikins.
By scoring 5 goals on
They
him.
put a 5 spot on him, so treated him appropriately.
Yeah. It's interesting The only Finnish guy who really didn't do anything yesterday was Lecky. Are we expecting him to be the guy today?
Yes, are we?
Honestly,
he's in my bets, so come on. It better be positive here.
Honestly, if I'm going against whatever dream, like I have really weird dreams sometimes. If I'm going against that, realistically, Lecky has to be the guy.
Yeah.
He's due. And he's just so talented. And we've seen when his game is on, we were talking about it just before the game went live, how much of an impact player he can be.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's kind of... I've talked about this global series as a bit of a get-right series for the Avs. We saw that with Makar and Comfer in Game 1. Lecky's got points, but exclude the first two. It's 2 assists in his last 8 games, so really hasn't produced a ton.
So it's time.
Yeah. You would like to see him get going.
Yeah.
No better place to do it than in Finland, where, I don't know, maybe he's too distracted by leading the entire team in a whatever they do in a Finnish sauna, whatever that was.
A song. I didn't know there was a song.
Had
A song in the sauna? Is that what it was?
I couldn't hear it, but people were
sauna?
like clapping.
Songa.
Oh my god! Too many dads on this pod.
You can be a dad without kids.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You ever heard of adoption out here?
Yeah, still having a kid.
We're getting into semantics. But we don't need to.
Anyway, let's go this route of it, since we're going off of Megan's dream vibes here. Can the Avs get sustainable production out of their depth, whether it be Cogliano? Newhook really is a third-line minutes guy at this point. Can they get something out of Kaut? Can they get into a phase of the season where you can expect them to find some consistency there?
I think with healthy players returning to the lineup, absolutely, it does feel like the depth is a little bit in flux right now. And so that's why, we talked about Abe Kubel right at the end, I think, of the show yesterday. Are they going to claim him? And it just feels like a short-term solution for what isn't supposed to be a long-term problem for this team. And so for that reason, I do think it is sustainable once the season gets going, because I think it's going to find a little consistency once people get healthy too. And I think that is a fair area in the lineup to point to and say we expect some kind of contribution. We're looking at the bottom 6 as a whole. One of you needs to do something.
Pick one,
exactly. And it can change throughout the course of the season, but I think it's a fair ask that the bottom 6 contribute offensively.
at least pull their own weight a little bit.
Game.
Yeah, for sure. Agree with that. I have no idea where AJ was going to go with the sweeps topic, so I'll let him take it.
Mostly just how, what a jumping off point it would be for the Avs.
Okay.
To win this game, you sweep this, you feel so much better at 6-4-1
compared to 5-5-1.
Several days, you get 5 more days off, and then you start playing some home games for once.
Yep.
Because if you look, they've only played.
Their schedule's been a mess, dude.
They've played 3 true home games. Yeah. There will be 1 liar home game.
That was last night.
That was last night. Yeah.
Yesterday, I guess.
So you actually are going to spend some time at home coming up here, and your schedule is going to get tougher.
Yep.
They've had some chances early, with Winnipeg and Seattle.
Yeah.
Chicago, some not great teams. And they lose 2 of those.
Those not so great teams have pretty good records right now.
They're okay. Winnipeg is winning a lot of overtime games.
Chicago's winning games too, which is crazy.
As a note of fairness, they also gave Vegas one of their 2 losses this year.
It's true.
That's true. Yeah.
But point being that their schedule just on paper
is more difficult.
It's going to get a lot tougher. They've got both games against Carolina coming up. They have Washington coming up. On paper, it's going to get tougher, and a lot of division games, Nashville, Dallas, are on the way. So, getting out of this with a win today, you sweep this global series. You put Columbus in your rearview mirror. You get 4 points out of Columbus. That's what you want. Last year, Columbus was one of the 2 teams in the NHL the Avs didn't beat.
Yep.
So they've already taken care of part of that, but getting that second win today, it gives them something to build on and stops the win-loss win.
Right.
Like they have yet to
Give
really
yourself
build
some breathing room a little bit.
They haven't really built any kind of momentum in winning right now. So, through 10 whole games. But
I mean, I said this on my review yesterday. And, yes, the first 9 games of the season counted. They matter. But it almost feels like this Finland trip is the proper start of the season for the Avs.
it kind of does.
1, because of the weird schedule, and 2, because you've kind of been sitting around this first part of the season waiting for the Avs to coalesce together. And they have an opportunity to, really put a stamp down today and say, okay, we're a hockey team. We know who we are now. Let's go out and be the Colorado Avalanche for the rest of the year.
Well, and players always talk about road trips early in the season as an opportunity to really bond and kind of rebuild. And it's a group that won the Stanley Cup together. They've got a pretty decent bond to begin with. It's a good starting point. But you know how it is. You take the summer off. Everybody does their thing, and this is kind of the East Coast trip was a good start to it, and then this Finnish trip, and okay, it's been great boy bonding time, but now you have business to take care of. Go win another hockey game. You're the better team. Just go take care of business.
I mean, the start of this year is very similar to last year's start, right? There was some wins in there mixed with, I think, more losses last year. And the same time last year, they were playing the Blue Jackets, and that's when they lost both those games, basically.
Yeah.
One in OT, I believe, right? And
that was a game that they blew.
Everybody was going off the rails about this team doesn't have it this year, right? And you're starting to see you're talking about it, these first 10 games, all the teams, they don't know their identity yet. You can start to see some of it starting to gel, and it's the teams that can really put it together now, getting into that 10 to 30 streak is where you're going to really see where these teams are going to be really in the standings for the rest of the year, basically.
Well, and the 4-5-1 start that everybody has obsessively talked about to start the season, again, as we mentioned yesterday, was followed by them
winning
they had
on a 16 game point streak or something insane.
It was it was like an 85% points percentage for the next 3 months. Yeah. So trying to the comparison to last year was getting ready to stop here, because that would not be a fair thing to expect them to just turn around and do again.
All right. No one tell Yahir the porn bots are here.
It's a different sort of message.
It's not a... Yeah. This has derailed me entirely.
Realistically, you can't expect the Avs to be a 900 hockey team again this season.
And getting a 6-4-1 start versus a 4-5-1 start means
they have 2 games.
You don't have cushion,
to be,
right?
Right.
You only have to be in 800 hockey teams to keep up with last year. But that's where I think we'll probably stop talking about last season's start so obsessively.
Yep.
Especially if they do win this game. They do have the 6-4-1 start. You get through the Finland trip. You're in a winning record. And then you have time. You get back home and you have a chance to really start to rack up some points, because they will get into a rhythm again playing games.
Yeah.
This bullshit schedule of
3 days off, 2 back to back.
I mean, it was even before before they went to New York. They play a game, and then there were 3 days off, and then they play in New York, and they have 2 days off in New York.
And then a back
to back. 8 of their first 11 games this year are front or back leg of a back to back.
Yep.
So they will start to get into a normal rhythm of playing games that are not back to backs. I do think there's another one coming up, but
it's
not.
It's been 4 weeks in a row,
right?
So.
But it's not like another one followed by another one followed by another one.
Yeah.
So really, you win this game today. They set themselves up fine. It's not great. You can't unlose the games you've already lost, but it maximizes the Finland trip, and you really come out of the whole experience It was once in a lifetime. We took care of business. We got our 4 points. We're great. Hell, even if they lose in overtime today, you get 3 or 4 points. You don't care about points that you give up to Columbus.
Yeah.
It's totally irrelevant. It's all about whatever you could bring home.
Yep.
And the other thing that you're probably getting back is once you get back, you're going to have 2 people that have been on the injured list coming back in Helm and Nuke.
We're
hopefully.
hoping, yeah.
And that will help again with the depth scoring because that just, with
Well,
Nuke coming in, you're going to
it
start
certainly
promoting people.
makes your lineup better.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely helps because, I mean, for all the love that Curtis McDermott has been getting, it's weird to me that the Avs prefer to play Jacob McDonald 3 minutes at forward
Than playing Curtis McDermott.
than play Curtis McDermott at all.
Yeah.
Like for all the talk about like, oh, what he brings to the lineup, or oh yeah, the Avs clearly think that he has serious value. Like that value stops at the head coach who won't play him.
Does it stop at the head coach or does it stop when he steps on the ice? I don't know.
So I mean, it's
Is there
every
a difference?
time he steps on the ice, Bednar's like, oh god, and then stops it. Like he's like, okay, well, can't do that again.
Yep.
To the point where he's chosen a defenseman.
To play forward,
forward.
but not really play. Only 3 minutes.
Yeah. To like moonlight for a shift or 2 in the first period. So it should really help when, and for whatever reason, I don't think Mikhail Maltsev's done anything egregiously
Right.
wrong in his time up.
Worth benching him for.
And for he's not building towards anything. At least with Kaut yesterday, the PK time, and then the work that he did on the PK.
Yep.
You see progress there. You can see he's getting a little bit of burn there. Now, it could all get wasted today if he goes out and takes an offensive zone penalty 3 minutes into the game, and you're like, well, another 5-minute game is coming. But you could see where at least that guy is building. But yeah, no, you're right in that they get back to Denver, their lineups should get a little bit healthier. And like the margin of error here is really thin. You get Val Nichushkin, you drop a 3-minute guy in Jacob McDonald, you add Val Nichushkin, your lineup gets a lot better.
Yeah.
Just with that one change, you drop a Mikhail Maltsev and you add Darren Helm.
Turns out adding a top
Your
6
lineup-
player is pretty important.
Your lineup, even with Helm, gets better because it balances the minutes, it balances
Yep.
the trust, it balances all the things that we've talked about that have been off to start this year. Now, Bednar could, of course, choose to do that himself. It's pretty obvious that's not going to happen on his own. So,
Okay. Megan's moneymaker is Cogliano.
I actually have Evan Rodriguez. I tweeted it with
tweeted
the
it out.
pregame link. That's who I think it's going to be.
All right. We got 2 moneymakers. What do we got for Blaze's bets?
I went a little safe today. Do we have a graphic here, or do I just talk about
No,
it? Oh,
he's
look at
got
that. I got the puck line for Colorado, minus 110. So it's going down a little bit further. Got a Lecky anytime goal, right, at plus 205.
Yep.
I like
I'm
this
going to
bet
ride
today.
that. Yeah.
Need that.
And then when I thought it was both backups, I took the over at 6.5 at minus 125. Still think they'll get there.
Columbus is bad.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
I
what you're...
do think that this could end up as a very similar to yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 5-3, 4-2-ish
Yeah.
range.
Too bad you can't take a bet on over-under on how many penalties are going to be called.
There's 11.
I bet it's less today.
I bet it's
The
less
double
today.
the double minors won't
Yeah.
happen, and
Yeah.
that alone will give them cover to be like, see, we didn't call so many. All right, shitheads. We're watching on NHL Network.
Oh, jeez. You'd think they'd put it on like a national channel.
That's what I'm saying. Is this
But-
the worst promoted league event ever?
It feels like it.
People who are diehard hockey fans had no idea yesterday why the game was starting when it did.
Yep.
I saw Twitter filling up with random people who don't follow either team being like, why is this game happening right now? And then they were
We're in
like,
Finland.
why is it in Finland? What's going on? And it's on NHL Network.
Yep.
Do you think the NHL just wanted to be like, let's just cross out Columbus and put in any other team, the Lightning, the Oilers, somebody where it's like, let's get
Chicago.
some. Yeah,
Florida has Barkov. Who else has a big fin? I can't think of any.
Could have done Dallas with Miro.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a good-
that'd have been good.
It would have been bad for the Avs.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
You don't. I mean, I guess Joe Pavelski plays for that team, so might have been bad.
Pete DeBoer coaches them. It's also Dallas, where it hasn't seemed to matter. The one nice thing is that would have gotten them a game away from actually having to go to Dallas. That would have been nice. They should have done that. We've been cheated.
Run it back.
Dallas is like the new Jersey, like that shutdown game that they play now. It's like the new version of what Jersey played
Not
in the 90s.
fun hockey, that's
No.
for sure. Right. Anyway,
Whatever.
any last things before we get into the game, the watch along, all that stuff?
Yeah, stay out of the box, Avs.
Would make their lives a lot
Everybody,
easier.
I would just prefer for mostly 5v5.
Yeah.
But also, if penalties happen, do call them.
It's
Do
just
call
penalties.
them.
Just don't make them up today.
Not the tick-tacky ones.
Yeah, well, and literally a too many men penalty that we still have no confirmation should have taken place.
Did you go back and look at it? Did you ever?
There was no good angle, but I never saw more than 5.
I went back and watched the full game last night. One, because it was kind of an entertaining game, but I was curious about it.
Yeah.
Never saw it. Not on live, not on replay. I never saw an angle that showed a sixth guy on the ice. There just wasn't one. Carolina would have been a good one.
All right.
Aho and Teravainen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would have been good. Okay. Well, when the refs screw this one up, come listen to me yell about it on the watch along. We're doing that. We're going to take this one down. If you're not joining the watch along, at least join us for post game. We will be live breaking down whatever happens. Be sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can find all of our stuff here. So we are going to get out of here for the pregame and talk to you in just a few minutes.